Thank you for joining me. This is part two. I have Niza Erickson with me today, and this is the Tell It Like It Is podcast. Niza, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
So, Niza, you grew up in Dominican Republic. You lived the life. Um, During the break, we were talking about beauty standards. What has been your experience? How do you see that?
That's an interesting topic. Well, let me start with, because it was funny though when you say now Niza Erickson. You know, Erickson is not my married last name, it's my actual last name.
Mhm.
So one thing that shocked people, especially here in the United States, is that how come you're Erickson if you're Dominican? But yes, in Dominican Republic, we have a mix of so many different culture. Normally, well, basically, people think it's Spanish, like from Spain, like a lot of Spaniards. But we have from many different places. We even have a big community of Jewish people in the Dominican Republic. So, but my last name, European, is Erickson. It has is a whole story behind that. And I can tell you though also, and going to the beauty standards is I'm not a typical Dominican.
Mm.
And I get a lot, where are you from? And I say guess, and they can say so many different places, but the Dominican Republic. And when I say I'm Hispanic, they go, oh, Colombian or um, Puerto Rican, even though, which is, I think, is a misconception because all of the Hispanic speaking countries, we have a mix everywhere. Yeah, you might have a kind of a, some, let's say, as a description of a woman or a person that stands out more, but we have a mix. And the Dominican Republic is not the exception of that. Um, but I have to admit, physically, I'm not the typical Dominican because, oh my God, you're blonde, you're white, you have green eyes. And they don't expect that. We are more dark, or they're darker in the Dominican Republic. I'm very skinny, I'm 100 pounds. So that's also not typical of the Dominican Republic. Women are, they have big thighs, you know, they're very curvy, and I am not, sadly. So, but so that's why it is a little bit, you know, confusing for some people, so many people like, oh, you're not Dominican, or what's going on? Because they get this idea of the Dominican people. My first mother-in-law, when she met me and I said that I was Dominican, she looked at me from bottom to top and she said, Dominican? All Dominicans are black and have kinky hair. That's what she told me. And I was like, but not me. So that's the idea of what people think, that Dominicans supposed to be black with kinky hair and all of that, but we are a big mix. And I have to say, we are very racist. And I have to say we because I'm Dominican myself, even though I'm not. You will find, and I think we are beautiful in all colors and shapes that we are, because all the mix and the people that are not mixed, we are next to Haiti as well. So it's a lot of Haitians living in the Dominican Republic and a lot of Haitian mixed with Dominicans. So we have, oh my God, you cannot really describe a Dominican because actually, when you say so and so is Dominican, you can have someone that is Dominican looking like me, and you can have someone that is really dark or black and totally different. And so, but we are both Dominican and we are all like it has a spectrum of different Dominicans. So, but going back to we are racist. You can have a family of people that they are black and they will tell the kids, the girls or the boys, do not marry a black person. And then you look at them and you say, are you black? Like, why are you saying that? Oh no, we have to refine the race. You have to marry with some, and it's so racist. Like it's so, for example, you know, we have something else that happened there a lot too is um, the hair. If we have these two terms, which are really bad, good hair and bad hair.
Mm.
What is good hair? Well, good hair for Dominican, it's a hair that you can wash it, you leave it like that, and you have straight hair. Or you don't have to get rid of your curls. You have natural hair, you have your curls, and that's bad hair. You know what I mean? What is bad hair? Bad hair is a hair that is really curled, that it's you leave it like you wash it, you leave it like that, and you get an afro. That's bad hair, and that's wrong. Especially nowadays that you can see the woman can they have in their natural hair, they just leave in their natural hair, which is nice. And it's beautiful. But we were taught that that's bad hair, and you don't want to have that. You go to the salon since you were little. They bring the little girls early in life to get rid of their curls because you have to have straight hair, and that is wrong. That is wrong. Um, you see little girls suffering or getting being bullied by because of the type of hair they have. I remember I have this very good friend of mine, and she's a mix. I have to say, her dad is really dark and the mom is really white. So she has this curly hair, but she is white with green eyes like me. But her hair is different. I remember when I was training, I remember kids pulling her, saying to her, "Oh, don't get out on the rain. Your hair is going to become the way it is. Like it's going to show the natural of it." And that is cruel. Yeah, and but that's who we are. I'm telling you, we are very racist when it comes to that. When who we are, we think to say what's beauty for many Dominican people, even though the majority of people are um, dark skin or a mix. We call it indiecito, is the person that is a mix with the black and white, and it comes that not so dark but not so white, and that's the indiecito. And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter, like we. Oh God, I forgot the thought again. You have to excuse me. I'm old. That things happen. Those things happen. Um, oh God, I forgot. But anyways, that even though you are light skin or dark skin, we are all the same. We are all Dominican, but people judge a lot, and you get bullied, and it is sad. It's honestly a sad thing, and still, I have to say, we still doing that. I see it there a lot in the Dominican Republic. What is considered beauty in there, it's someone that is white and blue green eyes and blonde hair. Now, yes, of course, not everybody's like that. It's a small percentage, but when they talk about beauty, that's what they refer to. And so if you, let's say, so you get there, you live in the Dominican Republic, you're Dominican, and you get married with a gringa, and this woman is an Anglo woman, beautiful, blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh my God, you get respected for that. Oh, you got that woman, she's so beautiful because of that. Because the only thing people are looking is that she's light skin and color eyes and blonde hair, because that's what is definition of beauty for the majority of the Dominican. When we have so many people, all colors, all size, so beautiful, but we were not taught to appreciate that. I feel like you have to get out of the Dominican Republic to be able to accept that and to understand and to appreciate all of that. So
You know what I thought about? Like, one thing that I give credit to with Dominicans very, very specifically is that, like, as women get older, they keep themselves up really, really well.
mhm. In general, yes, I guess, vanity. They say we have this saying in Spanish that says "primero muerta que sencilla," and it's basically first death than looking back. So, we feel like we always have to look good. We have to be good. And yes, in general, women, it doesn't matter the age, they always do their nails, they dress up nice, they have their hair nice, either short or a little longer, but they like to impress, they like to look good. So it's a good thing. Yeah. Well, I'm almost 50, a few months away from 50, and I feel like I'm a young lady, and I try to look my best.
I
So
think
it is.
you, I think you look great.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a thing there too. We are very vain. If that, I think that's the only definition for that, the only explanation for that.
I mean, I have to say, like, I really like, when it comes to, like, let's say I have three boys and I always wanted a girl, and I would say I was having a conversation about this yesterday, and I was saying, at what age is it appropriate to start to let your daughter do stuff? And basically, if I see like a 13-year-old, you know, with their hair done, makeup, like looking like a little adult, that scares me a little bit.
I don't think there's an age. They always going to be too young to do those things. And I think it has to do a lot with the culture. Um, my goodness, I was 15 years old when my mother allowed me to shave my legs or to wear makeup. I know it's not like that anymore,
Mhm.
but I was not supposed to wear makeup or even shave my legs. Like, why you have to be walking around with hairy legs at 12 or 13? But I was too young. I have to wait until I turned 15 because that's the age. And then once I was allowed to wear makeup, I remember clearly when my mother said, yes, you can wear makeup because you're 15, but only when you're going to a little party or something. Not like every day you're going to be wearing makeup. And I was so disappointed because I wanted to get back. I wanted to take my showers every afternoon to, get ready to hang out with my friends and put makeup every day after my 15. And I wasn't allowed. So I think it's just old culture. I allow my girls to do it a little younger, but always um, being careful that they don't look like big, like you say, a little adult woman. Or I feel like there's no need for that. You have to live every
Every
step
stage.
of your life, every stage. Yes. And I was very careful with that. But
So how do you teach that? Your 13-year-old daughter is going to meet her friend. She has a little skirt on and a tube top, and she's putting on makeup, and you're like, okay, it's fine, just be a girl.
well, for me, it's going to be a little different than for everybody. I kind of raised my kids, or we did raise our kids, my husband and I, with a little different, more like a Dominican family. So in my family, it was not a democracy. It was a dictatorship, more like, is what we say. And that was it. So we were more open-minded because we're in the United States and you have to understand it's older times. It's not like where my mother was doing, but they knew there were rules and they knew that no, you're not gonna wear that, period. That's it. Like it was, they didn't even ask, they didn't even question. Yes, sometimes I might say, but all my friends, but you're not all my friends. But so and so, yes, but you're not so and so. It's this is the way we do it. So I guess I didn't have to go through that because like just to give you an example, as a teacher, I saw so many girls with dress code, like that they need dress code at school because they were, like you say, with a tube top. You're going to school, you're not going to wear a tube top. And it's besides, it's a dress code, you violating a dress code. But I'm always say, how does that girl left the house with that outfit at 12? So that's the thing. We were actually checking how my kids were leaving the house. Not only that, who shopped for that? Because my kids and my daughter, even now that she's 28, my oldest, she said, oh, you never let me go to the mall with my friends by myself. And we were like, no, you have to go with us. There's a lot of gangs on the malls. That's where they recruit. And we wanted to, I don't know, maybe overprotective, or maybe because we were my husband was a school principal. So we were in the school and we knew everything that was going on. So I guess we were afraid. So our kids were not allowed to go to the mall alone. So if she's going shopping, she's going shopping with me. So I know what she's buying.
Hmm.
And there is no way she's going to have an item of clothing that she's not allowed to wear, because why do I'm buying that for? So I didn't have that a lot. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go through that because we say, no, you're not wearing that. You're too young, or that is too short. You cannot wear those shorts. So it wasn't, again, just because we say this is the way it goes and it works in my house, it's a little different. But I honestly think that just talking to your kids, that I'm not saying they always understand, because they think, especially when they're young, that they are the owners of the absolute right. So, they know everything, and they have the right for everything. But when you talk to them and you say, well, this is not appropriate, you will have a time to wear those kind of things when you can protect yourself more. But if you're walking around there to showing too much, and someone approach you or something, who's going to be there to protect you? So we kind of talk about those things, and I guess they understood. I'm not saying they didn't complain, they did, but you know what I mean.
Um, so much of what we're talking about is, I think that women have a lot to deal with. They have the additional burden, the additional expectation, and women are fighting to for equality, but at the same time, they're expected to be beautiful. They're expected to be smart, but they also expected to cook at home and take care of your little brother. So I think that women have additional burdens that men don't have.
Oh, yep.
So all of these things, the reason why I talk about it is because, like I said, I empathize with the complexity of womanhood. And the reason why I talk about it is because I think we need to be clear about it. I do think things like dress code, uniforms in the school are helpful to young people.
I'm a big fan of uniforms. Huge fan of uniforms. Don't get me started with that.
Yeah, I am too. I am too, absolutely. And in our culture of materialism, everybody wants something new for the first day of school, and all of that stuff. And it's distracting.
Mhm. Yeah, and then it becomes a competition of who has the latest sneakers and who doesn't. But if everybody has to wear the same black shoes or Oxford type of shoes, tie, whatever, everybody has to have that, and forget about the newest Jordan or whatever that is out there. And everybody have to look the same. Especially because of that, because not every parent has the money to buy what it's the latest trendy or trend out there in clothing. So I'm a big fan of uniform because of that as well.
But here's the kicker, right? The schools like Stuyvesant and those schools, they may not have a uniform, but the kids are so disciplined, they don't even care.
Yes, they don't. That is so true, and it's crazy. They don't care about clothing, which is so nice. And I was also impressed about that, because you found out, oh, so and so is the son of whatever important person in New York City. You're like, oh my God, they might have so much money. And then when you see the kid, you're like, oh my God, it's like you might thought that they were dressing with the latest. They don't care about anything. They just care about being a kid and learning. So yes, yeah. And you know what I say? I feel, and this is just my personal opinion, that a lot of Dominicans, sometimes we don't advance in life here in the United States because of that. Because we concentrate on let me buy everything I didn't have or what everybody has. And we don't care about getting an education. We don't care about getting a house or anything like that. We just concentrate on the latest pair of sneakers. Again, I seen it with my niece. I remember when she came to the Dominican Republic, from the Dominican Republic to here, she was what, 12, 13 years old. And all she cared was about sneakers and this and that. And actually a year ago, she finishes high school, and I'm talking to her, and I said, so what school do you apply for? What are you gonna go? Oh, I'm gonna take a year off. And I said, why? Oh, whatever. And I'm like, that's not the right decision. You should go straight to school. And I see her now, a year after she graduated, or maybe 2 years ago she graduated. She hasn't gone back to school, but she has the latest. I see her posting video of getting a Gucci bag and doing these, and she's basically working just to show off clothing, what she has. I cannot do anything because I'm not the kind of person that I go and tell you what to do. I say, don't tell me how to raise my kids, because I don't want anybody. I have my own way and I respect your way. even though I'm seeing that it's wrong, just like you can be seeing, but that's all they care. And it's in general like that, sadly, for the majority of the Dominican. And when you see a Dominican like your wife or I, that we got an education, that we value all the things more than fashion, they criticize you. They say, oh, you think you're too much, or you're not, oh, you think you're not Dominican. They start judging you because
Mm.
of that, because you chose education over clothing or showing off a car, the latest model of a car. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that we have. It's always in our culture. People come and they just want to have something to show off that they live in the United States. And normally they show off that with jewelry or with clothing or stuff like that. Not with education, sadly.
And you know, when you have a young, attractive girl and she looks like an Instagram model kind of thing, you know, this Instagram culture right now, everyone's advertising themselves on Instagram. And you know, now you want that lifestyle, then you're attracted to men with money kind of thing.
Mhm.
So she's not interested in a man who's, you know, 20 years old going to school. He has no money and he's just learning. That personality type is looking for a baller or a hustler, someone who's got
Yeah.
like, but does he have money? You
Hmm.
know, so
Sadly,
right,
sadly.
this culture is kind of fueling itself, you know, and like we were saying, when the poor people are going, when the people who don't have it are going to school, they look like it's a fashion show. And when the well-to-do people go to school, they're focused on learning and the right things.
Yeah.
So whether or not your school has an official uniform, I think it's good. You send them in a white dress shirt and some navy slacks, and I don't care if your classmates laugh at you. This is how you're supposed to look when you go to school.
Yeah, because you're going to learn. But it's true. I love you say that it looks like a fashion show, and it is true. It You see that. I mean, I remember seeing girls going to my school back in Florida with the heels this big. And I say, how can you walk with those heels the whole entire campus? You have to go from one classroom to another, and one is one stream of the school, and the other one is in the other one, and you have to carry a book bag and books. And how? Oh my God! But again, they want to show up the best and makeup, hair done. I'm telling you, you think they're going to a party because they want to look their best. And that's one of the reasons they want to work right away, because they know their parents can afford to buy them what they want. So they want to get a job. The minute they're allowed to work, I think it's 14
Mhm.
here, and they get that paper signed, they want to get a job because they want to buy. And I don't criticize that, the fact that they want to work to buy their own things. I think is a good mentality, but not to show off. Like, that is the wrong part. Like, just to buy all those things just to impress other people just like you. And that's not the right way to do it. But what can you do?
I think if you know, it's been said before that instead of buying Gucci clothes, you buy Gucci stock, invest.
Oh yeah, that is so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, what we're talking about is not a Dominican problem, right? We're not talking about Dominicans. We're talking about a problem that's at this point it's international. You
Yeah.
know, this is the American materialism culture, but the thing that concerns me is that it's the people who don't have it who are most victim to it. You
Oh
know,
yes,
it's the
sadly.
ones who need the education the most who are most distracted. You know, so the people who are focused, they raise their kids a certain way, and you know, because you're busy working, then your kids can sneak out, dress a certain way, they're on
Hmm.
Instagram more, they're hanging out with their friends more, and it's kind of like, you know, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and you kind of see it, you know.
Yeah, because believe it or not, and I believe that the solution is education. And sometimes we don't have the programs for the minorities that need a good education. But also, I remember many years ago, we have, at the beginning of the year, most of the school have like a couple of days of training, and we have speakers and stuff like that. I remember this guy that we had, and he said that the majority of the biggest problem that we have nowadays is that nowadays the kids are staying alone because mom and dad have to go to work, or if they just live with mom, mom has to go to work. And I think it's true. I think it's the roots of the problem. It is the roots of the problem, because even though now before, I'm sorry, people were economically disadvantaged, let's say, but mom was there, and mom was taking care of them, and there was some sort of respect, and they knew that if you do something wrong and the teacher goes and tell your mom, you're going to be, like you're going to be punished, or they're going to talk to you, something's going to happen. Or that if you go, I remember many years ago, teachers were allowed to go to their houses of the students. They go and visit and talk to the parents. It was like it was a thing that they do, or they did. Nowadays you don't do any of that. I don't even want to think about teachers visiting houses. It would be crazy. Like, it would be, oh my God, they invading your space. It will be so much problem. But before, you used to go and say to the mother, oh, so and so did this, and they were there. They correct them right there, and they knew, the parents knew what the kids were doing, because when they got home, one of the parents were there, and they monitor what the kids were doing. Nowadays, kids are alone, and you don't know what they're doing. And I don't want to judge that, because I know that many parents need to go out, but I think we need that. Like, I don't even know how to say. I'm like in between feelings. Like, I don't know how to express this, because I really want one of the parents home, but I understand that they need to go out to work, to provide for them. But I think it is so important that you have someone there checking what you do, and actually caring about education, making sure you're doing the homework, making sure, because they understood even at that time that education is the way out. Like, you need to have an education to understand that. But sadly, no. And some kids get home and they have to go to work to help their parents as well, and so they don't have time to do homework or to study or to do anything, and you lose them on that way, sadly. And that's something we can do, I guess. I don't know if there's something to do, but more money for those disadvantaged homes, for one of the parents to stay there and take care of the kids. And maybe you provide that, but maybe some parents don't want that either, because they want to go out and be able to buy other stuff, making more money. That, I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you. It's sad though.
So much. So here's what I'm doing is, I'm in. If you ask me the big picture, what are you doing, Alexi? I'm trying to recruit leaders, people who can step up and A, be a voice, B, be a role model, and C, recruit others, to the point where we have a team, a group, and we're saying, let's do things differently, because I'm genuinely concerned, and the more I talk to people, the more everyone's like, I see it too,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you had your time when you were home, and a lot of parents don't have the time to be home. And I think one of the issues is that school gets out too early.
Mm-hmm.
And if a kid gets out of school at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and the parent has to work till 5:30, 6 o'clock, and commute home, there's automatically going to be a gap there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a huge.
So there's gaps. School does what it. If you look at places that doesn't have school or very little school, we have a lot. So at the same time, people are like, why are you complaining? You have so much and it's free and all of these things, but it's not meeting the need.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that we have to step up and say certain things are unacceptable. You know, things like uniforms could really help the mindset of a kid. My son is 11, and he knows Gucci, he knows Tommy Hilfiger, he wants Jordans. And I talk to him the same way I talk to you, like, you don't need that stuff. People are just doing that to bully you. Anyone who you're going to impress with that, they're not really your friend, just don't even go there. But the culture is so strong that even when a parent is boldly telling you, I went through the same thing, it's not good, you have, he's going to be in school all day, he wants friends. So
Mhm.
his friends has made it clear to him this is the expectation. And it's hard to concentrate on learning when you look around the room and you see Jordans, Nikes, Yeezys. You're like, you're not just focused straight ahead.
Yeah.
So even before they begin to sexualize themselves, 11-year-olds are taught about brands. And like you said, they follow the adults. The adults are into brands and stuff like that. And it's overwhelming. Instagram has kind of been like a booster shot, just thrown this, just made everything more intense. Before you could kind of just close yourself off, but now I think we're more exposed to it.
Oh, we are definitely, and it's making. I think it's making it harder on parents that, like, you want to teach that is not important. That if you want to impress someone, impress them with your brain, with how much you know, or how much you understand, or how much of a good person you are. Because that's another thing we are forgetting about, um,
Character.
the character of the people, and it's just about what do you have, what you can show. And it's the same thing. And it make me think about professions, careers. With a lot of people constantly ask you, what are your kids going to school for? Like, the minute they graduate from high school, what are they going to study, what are they going to study? And once a couple of years have passed, they say, well, what do your son do, what do your daughter does, things like that, because they want to know where is the profession, where is the career. But nobody ever asks you if your kids are happy. That's another thing, because we are just thinking about, oh, I want to say my kid is a doctor, my kid is a lawyer, my kid is this. And like, it happened to me a couple of times. People have asked me and I said, "Oh, what do your kid do?" I'm like, "Well, he's happy." What do you mean he's happy? Like, he's happy doing what he wants to do. And they said, "But he finish school?" And I said, "Yes, he got he has a bachelor, not a bachelor, he's actually, what do you say that? I thought he has a bachelor, and I mean a minor and a major." He says, "No, I'm double major in sociology and English."
Okay.
And oh, so is he teaching? What is he doing? I was like, "No, he's writing a book." He said he wants to be a writer. He's writing a book. And he's not working. No, he's not working. Um, but he's happy doing what he wants to do. That he's going to stay like that for the rest of his life? No, because at some point he's going to need money. He has to go out of there and make it work. If he doesn't make it, because what about if his books become successful and he start writing more books? You know what I mean? But we need to sell right away to our friends. We need to tell them and show off that our kids finished school and he got a job in whatever place and he's making this amount of money. Well, is your son, your daughter happy? That's something we need to consider as well, because we're forgetting about that. We are just, again, just because Instagram or whatever, we want to show off what are they doing and how successful they are doing with X and Y profession. And it's the same thing, like, it goes back to the same thing. We want to impress others and we forget about our mind or what makes us happy. But this is
I,
the time we are living.
I was having a tooth extracted, right? And my dentist, I think he was probably late 20s, and he was Asian. And we were talking, and he said to me, when he was in school, his mom said, "You're either going to be a doctor or a lawyer."
That's
That
it.
was it. That was it. So she didn't ask him, "Are you happy?" or "Do what makes you happy." She said, "You're going to be a doctor or a lawyer." That's it. So his brother is a dentist. Is his brother was going to dentist school, and he said, "Let me try that." So now both of them are dentists. So I think we also have to be strict, right? Because if you tell the kids do what makes them happy, then we'll have a whole culture of bloggers and stream
That is true.
streamers. And I like that his parents was just like, "This is it. These are your choices." and he had enough respect to follow that. Obviously he was in college and he finished college. He could have just said, no, I'm going to do whatever. But in
Hmm.
his culture, you listen to your mom, even
Yeah.
about telling you what your career is going to be.
Well, but you know what? It's funny though, because now that you say that, I have a story with my oldest daughter. She went to school for fashion and advertisement.
Hmm.
So she has a bachelor's in a major in fashion and a minor in advertisement. 2 years after she graduated from college, she said, "Oh, I want to be an actress." And I say, "You can be a stripper if you want. Like my job finished when I finished paying school for you guys." But also, we taught them too that everybody has to have a career in my house. It says everybody has to be professional in my house.
Hmm.
Because then after that, you can do whatever you want. But at least we feel like we gave you something because we don't have money to give you. We don't have any material things. So what we're going to give you is an education. And then you can go on and do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. If that fails, at least you can come back to what we gave you, which it was an education. So whatever you want to do, you can go for it. And even I have a daughter that she's autistic, and even though she has all the limitations and all the special needs, she still went to school. Now, she went to a program. It wasn't something that you say, oh, she became out of there with something that she can go out of there and work as a teacher or whatever. No, it was just a program to keep them sort of busy, to teach them daily skills and stuff. But it was a 3-year program. It was as expensive as my son's school. But we gave her that because now she feels like, just like her brother and sister, she went to college as well, and she graduated from college. So she's like, "Oh, I'm not the only." And I wasn't the only one that didn't go to school, like And again, she has her special things, but she feels like everybody in my house has a college degree, and she feels so happy about that. And again, it's not just to show off. When we require our kids and we say you need to have an education, it's because we want them to have something in case of whatever your plan of life or your whatever you want to do. For example, you say, well, we will have a lot of people that become Instagrammers and bloggers and all of that. Yeah, I have to say a lot of people are very successful at that. But if that, let's say, is just this, like it stopped being popular and nobody's making money out of that, then you say, you know what? I have a degree in English or sociology. I can go and teach. You have something else. And that was our idea. So yes, the fact that your kids listen to you, which you say is cultural, and you also teach them with an example too, it, it works, it does work.
Um, my biggest fear is that, you know, our cultures, the people who are distracted and have are being you have the people who are well to do, and you have people who do the work, and the people at the work who do the work at the bottom, they're used to being taken advantage of, right? So you work, you get paid, you buy these things, you're not working towards owning a home or this and that. Materialism consumes them. you know all of these things are happening, and I feel like it's kind of normalized, and I feel like that culture is spreading. The substance of the people is not there, or it's eroding. In the
Hmm.
old days, the average person, you could have a dad who worked in the factory, mom stayed home, raised wholesome kids, and they were able to own a home, which they could then pass on to the kids and those kinds of things, right? So now the salaries are eroding, and both parents need to work, and they're still just working to pay rent. The kids are unsupervised, so they're being consumed by a culture that's, I want to say, not giving them substance. So you have people who are fighting over stupid stuff and can't keep a man, and all of these things that's kind of like consuming us. And I feel like that culture is kind of growing. And my fear is that it's not just a ghetto poor people thing. It's kind of growing bigger and bigger. And I've seen it spread to I've seen it spread to Jamaica. So Jamaica growing up was a wholesome place where, you respected the grandmas, you know, you respected the uncles and, all of these things. But now it's like eroding that respect for people and all of these. I just see like a breaking down.
Alexi, we have to respect our neighbors. Our neighbors were allowed to tell us what to do and what not to do. And we have to stay quiet and do what they say. If we found a neighbor and tell us, go home, you're not supposed to be doing that, you go home and you don't do that. Not same as Jamaica. It was the same thing in Dominican Republic. Nowadays, you cannot tell someone else's kid what to do or what not to do because they will get upset. But not only they will get upset, the parents will get upset as well. Like, who are you to telling my kid what to do? So yeah, it is changing way so much. And going back to what you were saying, it's the American dream, which is like work and buy a house, and it's getting even more difficult. It's more and more difficult to achieve actually nowadays because of everything that you mentioned. It is true.
So I'm worried about it. I'm there's a lot of people now who, two families sharing a house, three families sharing a house. You do what you have to do to survive.
Mhm.
But I see how one thing is affecting the other. The young people who want to just walk around and look good, who aren't prioritizing education. America could be leading the world in a lot of things, but a lot of countries are passing us. We're graduating lower and lower levels of professionals.
Yeah.
So it's good to do what makes you happy. If you want to write a book and be into communications and these things, but we need those tangible skills. And I think America needs to pull itself up in that way.
Oh, we do. I think education here needs a lot of work. A lot of work.
And the overall respect, right? The respect
Oh,
the
yeah,
individual.
yep. We need to start with that. But if you let me tell you, if you say, I wish we can come up with something. So if you come up with something that we can help kids, families, I'm on board. So count me on it. I will help you with whatever you can do because honestly, I saw it. I saw it firsthand when I was in the school system, and I still see it. Obviously, not as much because I'm not teaching anymore. But I want to help. I want to see something different. I want to see our kids because honestly, it does make me sad. See people and go in different ways when they have the potential to do so much more. When they can concentrate. And again, I understand though too as a teacher, obviously you see your kids and you know which kids are going to be able to go to college and really get an education and some others might not. They might need just some technical work, but we need more of that too, and we're getting rid of that. So there are, I have a friend that had a daughter that just like us, she say, oh, you need to have a career, you need to go to school, you need to get a college degree. And she went and studied, I don't know, fashion design, I don't know, some sort of designer, I don't even remember. But the girl wanted to be a hairdresser always, but she had to go to school because her parents said you need to get a college degree. So she went and did that. And then a couple of years after she graduated, she went to beauty school and she has a very successful hair salon now. So I understand that not everybody is college material. I feel like if you push it, you can do it, but we need to give them choices then. If we know as a teacher, like we can see, oh my God, they're having difficulties with the math or with this, but let me give it choices. So we should have other choices for these kids that they might not be able to succeed at college level. But let's give them choices so they can do something, they can live out of it and be respectful and make a little bit more of the average money so they can work for that. You know what I mean? So if you come up with something, I'm on board. Count with me.
I think
To
I think
help.
the first step is having conversations, being on the same page, and connecting in person and building up that community. And I think people are naturally drawn to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have to make time for in-person connections and be willing to show up for other people in need. You have expertise in teaching and those kinds of things. So we use the things we have, provide a community service, and it doesn't have to be free. There's plenty of people who would say, I wish I had a Spanish program I could send my kid to after school that
Mm-hmm.
would help them do X, Y, and Z. So then they would be willing to pay. So I think we also need more programs that people can send their kids to.
Oh, definitely. Hmm. Especially for those kids that when school is over, they have to go to an empty house.
Yeah, three
So more
three
programs that
thirty,
they can,
three
they
thirty
can
to
do
5:30.
exactly. They can do something productive with themselves, learn something that they like too, something that they can use in case of, and that that they are good, that they are supervised, that they're not doing bad stuff out there. Well, definitely, we need a lot more of those. And yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm gonna put you in charge of the Latino division. And yeah, I really do want to recruit and have organization. I mean, I think I think any parent or soon to be parent or anyone who's in interested in being better, they can relate to this.
Okay.
And I'm one person, so not everyone's going to relate to me. So my
Mhm.
idea with the conversations is to draw other people in. So now your audience can say, yes, I am on board with that. Where do you live now?
Mhm. I live in Middletown, New York.
My mom lives in Middletown.
New York?
Yeah,
Oh, great. So we must be neighbors.
yeah, absolutely. She lives in Middletown. She lives like right across from that huge mall.
Oh, yeah, the Galleria Mall.
Yeah, so
Oh my God. What a coincidence.
yeah. Um yeah, we have to go out of our way to create spaces to meet other people.
Definitely. I agree
And
with that.
how do you do that, right? Have you heard of meetup.com?
I heard, yes. Hmm.
Meetup.com, you can create a Cafecito group for Latino women in the area. So if
Hmm.
you if you're like if you want to do a lunchtime brunch once a month or something like that, you create a group and you make the event, and you'd be surprised, by the end of the month you'll have 50 people in there.
That's good. I'm gonna look into that. I didn't even know.
And little
I
by
thought it was more to meet up, just more like getting to know like a significant other. I thought it was more like that. That's why I never even pay attention to it.
I realized that the last conversation I was having, I mentioned it. They were familiar. If, on Meetup.com, when you go there, it has nothing to do with dating.
Okay, that's what I thought, it was more
So
dating.
let's say you like to go to church. You can do a Bible study group. So it's just to meet up people.
Okay, great.
Yeah, exactly. So there's Bible study groups. There's people who want to learn salsa on there. So you have
Hmm.
dancers on there. You have professionals who want to do like happy hour professionals. You have people who like hiking
Hmm.
groups on there. So meetup.com is a place just to meet people.
Oh, that is good. Interesting.
Yeah, so that would be definitely a good next step for your program.
Hmm.
um, and then you can, when you do have, let's say you start off this month, September. Today's the first, a perfect day for
Yes,
that,
that's true.
right? Let's say you start this month. I guarantee, well, let's say in a month you have a meetup and you have 4 people. Like now you have a group and it's in person, and you kind of hold. We need the community need those structures to kind of hold it up those pillars, and through this meeting in person, you find people who can use your help, and other people find other people who can get some kind of support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, when you come to New York City, you can do an event in New York City kind of thing, and you can get creative with it. Next thing you know, you have 250 people,
Oh
and
God.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And you can also create a link to a Facebook group. So Facebook is very popular. Meetup, most usually on Meetup, people just go to Meetup and they find a group, they find a date, and they go there. But most of the communication, like the chatter, is still on
Goes through
Facebook.
Facebook. Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you have your Instagram page, which kind of flashes the events, mention the Facebook, and by the way, we're actually meeting up in person. And you can start with a coffee shop, or you know, get
Exactly.
creative with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And little by little, I think we need those kinds of things.
Oh, we do. Definitely. Definitely.
And you know, we all have a part to play, and when you if you have a little more time, you know, you can be a pillar in that community in that way.
Yeah, that is it. And I have the time now that I'm not working. So,
The only thing about meetup.com that I don't like is that for a 6 month membership, you have to pay something like $40 or $50, let's say.
okay.
And so once a year, you'll end up paying, don't quote me on the price. I haven't looked at the prices in a while. So let's say for a year, you have to pay $80. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say to you, oh, there's nothing to lose other than those $80.
Those exactly.
You
And a
create,
lot to gain. So
exactly,
you think
exactly.
about it.
And you can also create the group and just do it virtually and those
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things. But I guarantee you, when someone goes on Meetup, they search their local area.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pick Starbucks, or you can go to like more of a boutique, probably better fit for like a boutique coffee shop kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you screen it out however you feel safe, build up conversation first, and feel them out,
Yeah.
take them, come to my Facebook and promote your page that way.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, thank you for the advice.
Yeah, so much of this is about actionable steps, you know, and we need actionable steps. And
Wait, too.
yeah, and I don't you know, I think you know that I run and stuff like that. No?
I don't know. I think I saw pictures, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I think I saw pictures. Yes.
The New
Uh,
York City Marathon is November 7th,
mm-hmm.
and it'll be my 6th time running that.
Oh, that's nice.
And I've done,
Getting trained.
yeah, I've done 4 other marathons outside: Philadelphia twice, New Jersey once, Florida once.
That's nice.
So in addition, I do smaller races. They have 10 milers, 5Ks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run sometimes?
I don't. I don't like to run too much. Very lazy. I guess the fact that I'm skinny never kind of make me exercise too much, but it makes me feel good. And I used to, it was many, 15 years ago maybe, but never something big, 1 or 2 miles around my house when I used to live in the Bronx. And that was it. But then I stopped and never went back. But I know it's important too. I want to get back into exercising daily, or at least a few times a week. I know, especially once you get in this age, you need to do some sort of exercising. It's not just about looking good anymore. It's more like being health or healthy, staying healthy.
2012 to 2016, I was a stay-at-home dad. And
Oh, that's
I,
nice.
yeah, and I lived in New York City. And you know, Darlene was doing her PhD. I was home with the kids, and running was one of the things I did to for my own self-care.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
And
really a way of relax of all the things, because it's also, a lot of people say, oh, you have it easy, you home. No, it's not easy. It's not easy. Mhm.
So little by little, I started doing 5Ks, 10Ks, and half marathons, starting in 2012. And that's how I worked up to marathons.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
but, being a stay-at-home dad, period, is hard.
Mhm.
And I was like a young Black guy in the Upper West Side. So there wasn't many of us. And the New York City running community was a way for me to feel connected.
That's good.
And I
Mhm.
got a lot of support that way.
That's good. Yeah, because
So,
it's not the traditional thing. Like it's staying home dad. It's not the typical to be the mother.
mhm.
So the fact that you're doing that, I'm sure at the beginning it was like I'm alone. I'm the only one.
There's a lot of nannies and, mothers with extra time. And, most people were pleasant, but it wasn't easy.
No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. You have to do actually another podcast about that when you tell us about that experience and maybe some advice for other dads that are out there that might want to do it and maybe they don't really decide to make that decision, that step, take that step. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I'll give that a thought.
Yeah.
So in 2015, I started a meetup group, and it primarily focused on running,
Hmm.
and it was very successful. I met 40, 50, maybe 100 people.
Oh, that's so
We did a
nice.
lot of runs together. I still communicate with a lot of them today, and it was a great time.
Oh, that's good. Very nice. I wish I'd had those things when I was home. Because, oh God, it was not too much internet. It was a little bit of the internet, but it wasn't that much out there. And it was a little harder because you don't, like you say, I think humans, we need to have a community. We need to have people around us to support us with certain things. So at some points, I felt honestly alone doing that. And, you know, being home, even though there were many women doing that around the country, but in my community, probably I was one of the few. And, you feel like, oh my God, I'm the only one doing that. Having a support like that of a community group would have made, I'm sure, all the difference because all the questions that I probably had, others already experienced and would have support and help each other. So yeah, it does make a difference, definitely.
I'm sure that by the end of the month, you'll have at least a few stay-at-home moms who are giving you their praise because now they may have never drank coffee or they have been drinking coffee alone, and now you've given them community, a place to kind of
Yeah.
interact and connect.
Let's just come and talk about whatever with your coffin in hand.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
before you know it, your 2 cents and their 2 cents, you'll have $1.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. Oh God, yeah, it is an excellent idea, actually. Good.
Um, so keep me on in the loop.
I'm definitely going to look into that.
Keep me in the loop, and honestly, let me know. You know, I would, when I come to Middletown, I'm definitely going to look you up, and I want to come and hang out with the group and you as well.
Great, great. I have to start looking into that definitely and see what can I do and if I get some people. That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great. We're more connected. Like I said, we just need more. We need, imagine if we were just doing this, you're just like, hey, I haven't really talking to you before. Let's just meet on
Mhm.
Zoom and talk, and we just were pulling people and having conversations. You share ideas, you talk
You know
about
that
commonality.
I read something the other day and I forgot what country is that they do that. They say that the people go to a library and instead of lending a book for whatever time, they just lend the person for half an hour. because they believe everybody has a story to tell. And after that, I want to create a segment of my cafecito with I talk to people for a few minutes so they can tell me a story, their life story, whatever it is, one part of their story. Because, as you know, to tell a story could be a lot, but you can just say, you know what, I'm going to choose this part of my life and I'm going to tell you about it. Because I honestly believe it doesn't matter what you do, who you are, everybody has something to say, something to tell. And I like that. I haven't found that many people because, you know, my page is all in Spanish. So most of my followers speak Spanish. I might have a few people that speak English, but in general, it's all Spanish speakers. So I haven't found that many brave people that want to come and sit and say, okay, I want to share my story. But I do believe that you were saying, it's true. We all have something to say, and you can connect and so good, and you get to know people on another level. And sometimes you get an impression of someone, but it's not only until you start talking to that person that you said, oh my God, it's a totally different impression that I have. And it's, you know what I mean? And I love that. So thank you for having me. I didn't know what was getting into it, but I love it. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you so much, Niza. Any final thoughts?
No, I am very thankful and thank you for the ideas and the conversation.
All right. I look forward to catching up and hearing more about it.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks again for your time. Namaste.